Hello and welcome to my video today. I'm going to be covering AI boxes for the Fisker Ocean. The AI box, or also known as a Android interface box, is a small device that is basically an Android computer equivalent to what you would find in an Android tablet without a screen. And you can connect this to the car, to the new Carlinkit kit that comes with the OS 2.6 update and allows you to have additional features that CarPlay and Android Auto do not provide. This box is an ATOTO, and I've been using this one for a few weeks, and it's a pretty decent unit. It has the ability to add memory to it in the form of MicroSD cards. For example, I have a 512 gigabyte MicroSD card in here that I use as a library for music. You could also add video to it. And what you could use these for is additional apps that you can download through the Google Play Store that you would usually be able to do on a phone or a tablet. They're not the same apps that you would use with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which are usually specifically made for that purpose. So you could use any Android app on this device. A lot of these come with different versions of Android. I've seen them anywhere from Android 10, Android 12, 13, and some of the newer ones support Android 15. This also has a SIM card port on here where you could add a SIM card which will provide data to it. So if you don't want to hotspot this to a phone or to the car, you could have this with its own data. So that may be a good thing to have for some owners. And this connects by USB-C to the Carlinkit kit that comes with that hardware kit with OS 2.6. So I'll show how all that works with another unit that I just received today from Carlinkit. It's called the Carlinkit Tbox Max or Tbox Ambient. And I'm going to be unboxing that and showing you how it works with the Fisker Ocean. So let's get started. And here is the box for the Carlinkit. I am going to show you the details. It's called the Tbox Ambient, model CPC200, and it has a RGB ambient light, full Android system, navigation, video, music, microSD app. Dimensions are 78.6 by 78.6 by 18.5 millimeters, or 3.09 by 3.09 by 0.72 inches. So very compact, includes USB cables. So let's open this up. And inside the box, I see we have a Cloud SIM, factory installed SIM with 10 gigabytes, 90% off coupon. So I'll be looking that up. It says Cloud SIM is an integrated eSIM solution for AI boxes providing direct internet access. So there's a QR code. I'll look this up. There are quite a few different sources of data that you could get with eSIMs or SIM cards for this device. So it depends on your local area what the best prices would be. But this day and age, data is fairly cheap. You could probably get one of these SIM cards added to your current phone subscription. So I know for AT&T, you can add an unlimited SIM card for $20 a month. So I'll leave that up to you to investigate. And here is the box itself. It is a very compact unit. And we have the micro SD card slot right here, USB-C port right here, and the nano SIM card port right there. That's the only ports on here. This opening is a recessed button to switch between Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Otherwise, that is it for the unit itself. Let's see what else we have in the box. We have two USB cables. One's a USB-C to USB-C. Another one we have is a USB-A to USB-C. And then there is a manual here. I'm not going to show you all the details, but it's pretty involved, so you can check that out if you purchase one of these. So I'll give you an example of what you could add to here. This is my 512 gigabyte MicroSD card. I usually recommend getting the high endurance or industrial versions of these since they're going to be used in a vehicle that gets hot during the summer or cold during the winter. So I am now going to take one of these and insert it like so. And if it doesn't go in that direction, it goes in the other direction. And use your fingernail to snap it in place. And it is now installed. And if you have a nano SIM, you could insert that in here as well. This one is from an old phone. It's not active, but I just want to give you an idea of what these look like if you want to add one of these. And also the eSIMs are built in, so you could either use a physical nano SIM or the eSIM that's inside the unit. Here is the Carlinkit adapter or dongle that came with the OS 2.6 update. We have USB connector on this side, and we also have one on this side. This will connect to the ports on the car, and this will connect to either a phone or another device, which will be this one right here. I happen to have some short, high quality USB-C to USB-A cables, so I am going to be using that as the interface and then connect it like so. So that's it. Then this gets connected to the car. Now, some people may complain, oh, I have multiple devices. This is too much to handle. Well, these are extremely small devices. I am going to use some of my favorite command strips and attach them to each other. And then I'm going to put one on this side and attach it to the inside of the armrest so that this could be inside that storage bin out of the way. So yeah, so it's lots of possibilities with how you want to store this. I am going to just attach these two so they stay together, and then I'm going to put this in the car. Basically what it looks like from this angle. And there we go. I'm going to now put this in the car and show you how it works. So here's the inside of the storage bin, and I have some cables set up here. I have the splitter cable that came with the OS 2.6 hardware kit. I have one end of it plugged into the USB-A port that provides power, and the other end of it right here goes to the service USB cable that's right in this area here. You can route that up and hide it behind the trim panels. I also have a couple of extra USB ports that I've installed using the electrified Ocean USB harness that gives two additional USB-A ports inside the storage bin here. So the end of that splitter cable is right here, and this is where I would attach the Carlinkit USB-A to, like so. Now we have power to both the Carlinkit and the AI box. At this point, I am going to attach it. I can put it in this area right here, and it stays out of the way. So let me take off the Velcro here and attach it, show you what it looks like. All right, so there we go. Takes up a corner of the box, and I can also put my accessory storage bin in here with no issues, plenty of clearance. So let's start the car up and show you how it works. Here's what the box looks like when it's powered up. You can see that little ring around the outside shows that it is on and working. And for my situation here, I did not need any additional power. I have enough power coming from the USB port through that Carlinkit dongle that it seems to work fine. Most of these units are anywhere from 5 to 10 watts of power usage, so fairly minimal. And the nice thing about using one of these power connections is that if you have this one on, if the car is out of ready mode, you can still use the screen. But if you want to make sure that you reduce the amount of power usage, I would recommend connecting it to one of these other USB ports. These are actually connected to the rear ports by the harness, and they will shut off when the car is off. So if you want to make sure that this box turns off, connect it to these other ports, because the USB-A and USB-C in this area right here are always on. So just want to let you know that. All right, so I'm seeing the first screen show up here. They have a warning screen, agree and accept. So here's the default interface for the AI box. Gonna move some stuff around so you can see better. Now with these AI boxes, you'll need to set up the Google Play Store. So you'll have to log in with your Google account, and that will give you access to the Google Maps and all the other things that are related to the Google service. I also happen to see here there's a Cloud SIM pop-up here. This device comes with a 4G network. New users can get a 90% off coupon for 10 gigabytes of data. Go to activate the Cloud SIM. So I am going to ignore that for right now. So here is the main screen when the AI box turns on. You have a navigation up top, which is the Google Maps, and then down below here you have a section for music, and then another section here for shortcuts. Then along the bottom we have commonly used apps and also a grid button that you can get to the apps. We also have icons for the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, as well as the time. One thing I want to talk about is going and setting it up for the first time. Go and press the settings button right here. The first thing I would do is go and turn on your Wi-Fi. I have mine connected to the car's Wi-Fi. You can have it connected to whatever you want. You can have it connected to your phone, or if you install a SIM card, that would show up down here too. There's a few other options on here, but I didn't mess with any of them. But I would press on the internet button right here. I would make sure that you change the network preferences to be right here, this one here. Wi-Fi turns back on automatically. I would have this checked to on so that it always connects to Wi-Fi, so you don't have to manually do that. So that is something I would suggest. Let's go back out. Go back out again. And now we're in that system menu here where I set the Wi-Fi. You can also set Bluetooth, the SIM, your language, application info. There's a whole bunch of The apps and all of them are listed on here. We have date and time. I set the date and time to be automatic and it seems to be working pretty well. But if it doesn't for you, you could always go in and set your time zone and time with these settings here. We also have a more button, which I'll go into in a little bit. But first, I'm going to show you the other options. On the bottom, we have display. The LED color settings here are the LED colors that are on the box itself. And since I have my box in the center console area here under the armrest, I don't need to see any LEDs, so I turn that off. So you can click on that and turn off. There's also a floating button, which is very handy to have. I have this turned on and I have it parked in the lower right-hand area right here. You could put it anywhere you want. And I'll go over that in a little bit after I finish all these menu options here. I have the desktop style set to 2. I didn't really care for 1. 1 pretty much has everything in grid mode, and I like it separated into the sections of the navigation, music, and shortcuts. And one thing I'd like to let you know is that if you switch between the desktop styles, it'll rearrange all your icons. So if you have your icons placed in a very specific manner, I would not change that desktop style. I found that out the hard way. Speed unit, I changed that to miles per hour. Light and dark mode, you can set for light, dark. I set mine to auto. System navigation bar, I left that for on. And we have some navigation settings in here. I'm leaving all of those pretty much default. There's a lot of options. You can go deep into them and configure it to your heart's content. A lot of these I just leave on the defaults unless I notice something that I'd like to change. Let's go to original here. We have video definition. If you play videos, for example, on streaming or on the drive itself, you can adjust the video quality on here. I haven't tried that yet. The default is 8, so I'm just going to leave that. Next here is image quality of just the display itself. The default is what I left it on. If you want to have the highest image quality, put it on 0. And when the device reboots, it'll use that setting. So I'm actually going to try 0. So the next time I reboot it, I'll see what it looks like. And then I am going to go out. We have car GPS. When it's on, the car's GPS data will be used. I'm not sure. I guess if I have a problem with the GPS that's built into the AI box, I can always switch it out. So I'm going to leave that off for now. Auto display, when turned on for some cars, automatically enter the box interface when connected. Yes, I have that set so that when I turn the car on, it automatically turns on. Very handy to have. Send media information to the original vehicle. I haven't really had a need for that, but I just left it on as a default. Let's go to other. We have feedback. Google account is where you would sign in, and that would use your Google account for all the apps that are on here, including the Play Store. So that is pretty handy to have. There is a Wi-Fi hotspot compatibility mode. I left that off. I may play around with that later and see if that affects anything. Boot up app, you can have a specific app start up every time. I left that off for now. Voice assistant, there are a bunch of different voice assistants that you could use. Right now, I don't have anything set for that. I'm just using the standard Google one. And I'll probably do a follow-up video with the voice assistant if needed. Volume assistant, didn't really see anything to change in there. There's a log. I left that on. copy log, file to SD card, and then there's factory settings that you can reset if you wish. Then we have version here, which lists all the different versions of the firmware and software that's on the AI box itself. If you want to do an update, they have an OTA update that'll actually check the version. I already checked mine and mine's the latest. It's dated 7/9/2025. You can always check your version, or if you want, you can always download the firmware off of the Carlinkit website. So it's up to you how you want to do that, and you could just copy that to a micro SD card and then upload it and install it on the box itself. So that's where you get your system updates. Let's go back to system here. That one category of more brings up a Android menu here with a ton of other settings that you can go through. So there's lots of settings here for the networking, Bluetooth, apps, notifications, storage. By the way, I have a whole bunch of apps that I installed and I'm only at 20% out of the 102 gigabytes free. So that probably was what, 120 something gigabytes that it came with on the device itself, not including the micro SD card. That's additional storage. So on the device itself, it has a lot of space. So if you want to throw some music or videos on here and you don't have a micro SD card, you could always copy them over and use the memory on the device itself. Then there's a whole bunch of settings for sound, display. You can change the font size and brightness, wallpaper. That was a one on here. I'm going to probably do some custom wallpaper eventually. Let me go in ES File Explorer. I just happen to have the different default wallpapers here. They have 11 different ones you can pick from, and you can change those. For example, there was an ocean one here that I liked, and I guess a lot of these are default horizontal wallpapers, but you can change them to vertical wallpapers by just grabbing part of the screen that you want and doing that. So I am just going to pick this one here. Probably going to upload some of my own in the vertical format so that they will be higher resolution. So I am going to press the save button here, and now that's going to be the new wallpaper. So you can also use other areas here. If you have photos, you can use those. So lots of options for wallpaper. Let's go back out. Let's see. There's a whole bunch of other things here. I'm not going to mess with any of these right now. Actually, let's look at About Tbox Ambient real quick. This gives some information. If you had a SIM card, it would list that. We have some other information, the model SM6225, which is the processor, by the way. There's a couple different processors you could purchase for this model. There's the SM6225 and the, if I'm not mistaken, the 630. They're very similar. The 6225 is the latest that comes with the Max model. There's even better processors on the Ultra that is going to be available soon for the North American market. And that's even faster than this system, but it also costs a bit more. This one's pretty reasonably priced. I got mine for about 145 bucks with the Christmas discount. So what else we have on here? We have some information. Like I mentioned, there was 128 gigabytes of ROM, which is the storage space that we can use on the device itself. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM, running Android version 13. We have a whole bunch of info on the IP addresses and whatnot, so that's about it. So I am going to back out of that. So sometimes you're in these menus and you may not find a back button. Well, you can find a back button manually by pressing on that little cursor right here. So if I press on that button right here, I got a few options for these icons. If I press it again, it'll stay on a little longer. There's a back button there, and that allows you to do the moving back and forth in the menus. So I'm pretty much done with the setup here. So I'm going to press the home button here. And if you ever need to go back, it's in settings. This right here is what you would have for shortcuts. So you can add apps on here as shortcuts. For example, there's an empty one right here. If I did plus, I could pick anything that's installed on here and use it as a shortcut on this screen so that it'll always be on this front screen that starts up. So for example, if I wanted to have Google Maps as the shortcut, I could do that. For example, I can press that right there and then you'll see it. And then if you want to change these, you could also just hold on to it and press the X and you can delete it. And then you can add something else if you wish. So here's that little cursor I was talking about. You can place this anywhere you want on the screen. I just placed it in this area here to be convenient, but there's a whole bunch of other things. You have the home button here, brings you to the home screen. There's the back button. There's the button here that goes and shows you all of the apps that are running. So it's the switcher, basically. It allows you to go through if you want to go to any of the different programs that are running, or if you want to close anything down, you could just flip up on it and close it out. For example, I can go like this, and then that app closes. So very convenient to have if you want to switch to a particular app or close an app down, you can do that. So I will also look on here. There's also a microphone. There's this button here. Not sure what that is. I think that's also just that menu button. And then there's the car button here, which brings you back to the ICC interface if you want to do that for any reason. For example, if you want to look at your cameras, the only way to do that is through this screen. And then I'll press that AutoKit button again, and then I'm back into the AI box. So like I said, this cursor button right here is very handy to have. So just press it and you got some shortcuts for different things on the screen. As far as the apps go, I downloaded a whole bunch of apps. There are some included, but I did some additional ones. For example, the EV charging ones. I have those on the second page here. For example, I have Plug Share, Electrify America, Better Route Planner, all those in this area here. I also have a bunch of video apps up here. And let's see what else we have on this last page. I have a lot of the system apps, a lot of the Google apps right here, and also some of the other system apps. I also have some AI apps up here. I'm going to be messing with those for assistance at some point. So more experimentation going on. On the main page that I have a lot of the navigation apps right here, so a weather app, some other handy apps for home usage. I have the MyQ app. Currently, I haven't gotten this to log in yet, but this will allow me to control my garage door. I also have Smart Life, which is my home automation app. That brings up a lot of handy things that I have around my house. I can control right from here, turning on lights and such around the house. So I have control of that. Also, if I go back into here, I have my Ring app, which has all my cameras and security system on there. So very nice to have all this stuff. One thing you can't do is a lot of these apps are not available on Android Auto or Apple CarPlay playing from your phone. So the only way to get them is to install them on this Android device. So that's one of the things that I think is very handy, is that you get a lot more apps that you can install on here directly and not rely on your phone. Some of my music apps I have up here. My favorite ones are SiriusXM and TuneIn Radio. I also have TuneIn Radio on my Tesla, and the main app that I've used for the last 2 years on the Ocean has been TuneIn. I know some people like some other apps like Spotify and etc. So those are all on here too. You can download additional apps that you'd like to use. For music that I have stored on the microSD card, I have several hundred gigabytes of FLAC files, kind of like MP3 files. And this Power Amp I found is a very nice app to use for that. I've been experimenting, downloading a bunch of different other apps for my Android phone, and I found Power Amp is the most flexible for that. I You can use it for free for a while, and if you want all the extra features, there's a purchase option. So I think I may just purchase that one. I really enjoy that one a lot. And then up at the top here, we have phone messages. A really neat app I got downloaded is called Blacker, which is allows you to black out the screen. Some people have asked that, well, if you're driving at night and you just don't want a big bright screen on here, what would you do to be able to shut that off? That would be a nice feature. So Blacker is an app that does that. Here's some of the settings for it. And you can have a little icon set for it so that you can instantly turn it on and off as you need it. So I am going to enable it right now. And then it has a little cursor up here, and you can place this anywhere you want on the screen. I may just put it right in this corner right there, next to my cursor button here. So whenever I want to use it, I can just turn it on and off with that little button. So if I go back into the main menu, that little cursor will be right there. And then if I press on it, the screen goes blank. So very handy to have. I can press anywhere on the screen and it turns back on. So just a neat little app here. And this one is called Blacker. There's other apps like that you can download that do similar functions. And then we also have the Auto Kit button, which allows you to do the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay through the AI box itself. And then we also have the car button here. If you just press that, it's also like that shortcut. It gets you back to the ICC, the main screen. If you need to do anything on here, for example, set the climate control, things that you can't do with the AI box right now. So that's one thing you can do right there. And I'm going to go back in. So that's it. So that's about a quick overview of the how to use the AI box. You can download additional apps through the Google Play Store. I have that right here. Thousands of apps you could load on here if you want. So it's up to you what you want to have. So that is very flexible as far as that goes. Oh, and this area here, if you're running one of the music apps, it'll be in this box right here, and you can control it from this, or you can control it with the steering wheel controls. Basically do the same thing. By pressing the buttons on that, you can control the music. And also the voice assistant button on the steering wheel allows you to also bring up voice assistant for example, on navigation. So if I press right now, voice assistant, oh, there's, I just did the Gemini thing, so I think Gemini is going to be taking over as the voice assistant. I was using the generic Google one, but I'm going to be testing this out and see how it works. So I haven't gone through all of the settings for this yet. So I am going to say use Gemini. Let's try it out. All right, so let me test using the voice assistant button on the steering wheel. Drive to work. All right, there we go. We have voice assistant with the Google Maps, and it gave me directions here. So, yep, so there we go. So we do have the ability to use voice assistants with the apps on the AI box. I'll be experimenting more and seeing what additional things we can use, especially now with the AI voice prompts that you can use. So, be interesting to see. Well, it'll be interesting to try out the new AI voice prompts, for example, using the Gemini, among others that are out there. So, I'll be trying them out and seeing how they work. Until then, let's go back to the main menu here. Let's do a test on some video. So let me get YouTube going here. How to pair an NFC card to the Fisker Ocean. Let me pause this and see what resolution settings we can have. I'm going to change the quality to higher. Get a new card, and I am going to, let's see what resolution we can set here. Let's do advanced and pick specific resolutions. Pair this with the Ocean, and I currently have two cards. One of them I use all the time. The other one I've misplaced, so I'd like to have always have a second one on hand for emergency in the house, or if I'm going on a trip, I have a second one with me. So I am going to pair this one with the car. So just to show you that it is not paired, I'm going to hold it up to... All right, so there's a sample of using YouTube right here. Of course, your data is going to be dependent on many things. To have the best data stream, it's probably best to use a SIM card in the device or have it connected to your phone with hotspot so it gets the highest data. If you're going to be using the data from the ocean itself, it's going to be pretty minimal. For example, on here, I have the data set from the ocean and it's getting 480p resolution. To get any higher, I'm going to have to switch it to using my phone's data. Just want to let you know that you can use the AI box with the data from the car. It's just not going to give you a whole lot. It'll be fine for music, but video, it's going to be limited. Oh, and one thing we'll be hoping for with the update in the future is to be able to use the screen in horizontal mode or Hollywood mode with these apps, for example, YouTube or Amazon or anything else. It'll be nice to have the full screen that you can take advantage of. But right now, it's portrait only until we get that update that allows mirroring and that will have more capability. Let me try Netflix. Let's look at the trailer here.
I need you to fight one last time. Fight for the days.
All right, so Netflix is working good. Let's see. Can adjust some settings such as the audio and subtitles. So, yep, so that is working. So I'm not going to go through every single video app here. So it appears that video works for all these. Unfortunately, it's only in the vertical mode that you can run videos at this point until we get an update that allows us to run in horizontal mode. So look forward to getting that in the future. Then if you want, you can use an app like VLC to play videos from the AI box itself. So if you load videos onto it, and this can play those. So that's another way of doing it. So that would be handy on a trip or at a charging station, and you can play videos without using any data by using the VLC app. So that's pretty cool. So overall, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with this AI box, and we're learning more things we'll be adding over time. I'm going to do a quick drive to show you how it works with using the Google Maps and showing you just what an average drive looks like doing that. So to start up, I just press the Auto Kit button here, and I'm back in the AI box. So let me do some samples here. Let me drive home. I'm going to press the button for the voice assistant. Drive home. So it finds the best route. All right, so let me get started here. And as you can see, when I'm reversing, the camera gets overlaid over the AI box so you can see it. So I am going to exit this way. And so let's go this route. So the nice thing is when you're using the Google Maps, it gives you alternate routes that you can pick on the screen here. They're just a lighter color blue. And I'm just going to switch between the full screen. Also, the GPS on the AI box seems to work well even if it's out of sight. I have mine inside the storage bin here under the armrest, and it seems to work fine. Doesn't seem to have any issues picking up a signal. Lots of construction on this road. We're right by NC State campus, so lots of things going in right here. I think they're building new apartments right here. I am going to go this way. And of course you can zoom in and out on the map as you see fit. I kind of like this view that I can see where I am and my destination all in one view right here. Hello? Um, Hold on a sec. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Tell your dad, can you pick me up?
Pick you up? Yeah, I can pick you up. I'm dropping off coffee to mom, and then I can go pick you up. So
Alrighty.
I can
Can
be
you
there
meet
in
at
about,
that time? My phone's getting low on battery. It's at like 2%.
okay, so I'll see you in about 30 minutes. Okay?
Alrighty then.
All right, I'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Continue on Glen Eden Drive for a quarter mile.
All right, so you heard example phone call through the system. Sound pretty clear, and the person on the other side could also hear me well.
Welcome home.
All right. And there we go. Well, I hope that gives you a good idea of how the AI box is useful in day-to-day driving of the car with the navigation shown on here. I also had music playing in the background, had to turn it off for the video, obviously for YouTube restrictions. But yeah, it's pretty flexible system here. You can either have it full screen or have the windowed view of the navigation along with other items that you have on here for the Android system. And yeah, so it seems to work pretty well. And as I mentioned, you can easily use the backup camera. It overlays the AI box so that you can see it. And then when you go back into drive, it will disappear. So there's no issues with that. You don't have to get out of the system to use the camera. And yeah, so that's a good example of everyday driving. Well, that about wraps it up for the video today on the unboxing and installation of an AI box, specifically the Carlinkit Tbox Ambient or Tbox Max. This was fairly easy to do. These boxes range from under $100 to around $300 or so for the most advanced high-powered processor versions, but most are in that $100 to $200 range. If you're interested in this particular unit, I'll have the link in the video description. Definitely use one of the discount codes or coupon codes that I'll list because they give anywhere from 20 to 25% off the purchase price. And this one in particular was around $130 when I got it for a Christmas deal, but I think they're in the $140 to $145 range right now. So not too bad for the amount of functionality this adds to the vehicle. I'll be covering other AI boxes in future videos and also additional things that I find useful to do with these boxes in the car. So look forward to those videos in the future. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.